Hello everyone, welcome to lesson 19 of my PySimpleGUI lessons. In today's video, we're going to be updating drop-down menus. This lesson is similar to lesson 17 in the goal, but we're going to be using another type of element to achieve it. We're going to be using drop-down menus instead of list boxes. The effect will be the same, but we're going to be using a different method. So for drop-down menus, first we import PySimpleGUI as SG, and then we give it the same dictionary, which is Alice likes Python, and then Bob likes Java, Charles likes C++, and then David likes HTML. Oh, sorry, this should be, and then we get a blank list, and then a for loop. Okay, so what this loop does is it gives the keys for dict, which is Alice, Bob, Charles, I spelled Charles wrong, Charles and David to I, and then we add I to the end of the list. So effectively, the list should have Alice, Bob, Charles, and David in it as the 4 things in the list. So let's print list to prove it. Alright, as you can see, there's Alice, Bob, Charles, and David. These 4 are all keys and not values from this dictionary. Okay, now we can work on the layout. The layout, there's a drop down menu, and then we put the list in for all the names, and then we can give it a key called drop, and then we can give it a size, and enable events, so whenever one of the names are clicked, the system can calculate. And then the second line, there's a text saying preferred language, along with an input text element with the key of language. So this input text shows the language that they like, and we give it a size of 25. Window equals sg.window, favorites, layout, while true, event values equals window.read, print event and values. If event equals none, then we can break, and we close the window at the end. Okay, so let's run this, and so this drop-down menu is this one, and when we click something, event and values gets printed. So drop is the event, and the values is this whole dictionary. And then what we want to do is, in this input text element, it shows the language that it likes. For Alice, it would be Python. So let's code that. As we can tell, if we click any one of these names, the event will always be drop. So we can use that as the event here. If event equals drop, then we need to first, from this whole dictionary, we need to find the name that we clicked, and then we need to turn this name into this dictionary and find the key that binds, the value that binds the key to the value. So for Alice, it would be Python. So first, we can give it a temporary variable, and we can say values, which is this one, so this whole dictionary, and then we need to find the value for the key drop. So we can put the key drop in here, and then let's print temp1 to verify it. And then, so we're gonna click Alice. Alright, so for temp1, this is Alice that gets printed out. So far so good. Next, we give it another name, let's say temp2. And since we already got the name, we can compare the name to the things in this dictionary and find the corresponding value. So we can do dict because that's the name of this dictionary, and then the key. So we can do, the key should be temp1, and we can print this temp2, and let's rerun this. If we click Alice, it would show Alice and then Python. So temp2 shows the language that Alice prefers. So let's put all of this into one line. That way it doesn't take up a lot of space. So we can do window language. So let's update the input text element language to temp2 that we already found. So we can update this, and then let's combine all 4 of these lines into one line. So on the outside there's dict, and then square brackets. Inside we put temp1 in here, which goes in here, which is values, and then drop. Okay, let's get rid of this, and let's make sure this is running correctly. So we can run it. Let's compare it to this. So if we click Alice, Python would show up, which is the corresponding value. If we click Bob, Java would show up, which is corresponding to Bob. And then Charles would be C++. And then David would be HTML. Yes, like this. And then, okay, so for this window, let's try to make it a bit prettier. Let's try to make this drop-down menu about the same size and width of this second line. So let's change the width to, let's say, 40, and try it this way. Okay, now it looks better. So yeah, it doesn't really change how the code works. Alright, let's give a recap of this. So basically, we looked at the events and values. These were 2 key variables that we need to determine the languages that these people like. So during most PySimpleGUI codes, event and values will be really important, and if event equals something, this line is also really important. It determines the event and how the code will react to it. Okay. Yeah. Alright, that concludes lesson 19 of my PySimpleGUI course. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. And remember, from novice to pro, work for tuition helps you grow.